dance instructional video. So we're going to start with working on your steps in this first segment, which will last for a minute. And we're going to go through the steps that you're going to be incorporating into the first minute of your dance. We're going to go through them in a slower pace so you can actually get a feel for each of the steps. And then toward the end, we're going to do real time with music so that you can see how it all comes together and flows. So let's get started. My plan was to give y'all an interesting introduction to capture everybody's attention. So if we start down on the floor, we're going to execute what's known as a three-step. So you're going to begin in a crouch position. And from that crouch position, you're going to bring your left leg up. That's one. You're going to bring your right foot up. That's two. Then, in one motion, you're going to turn this way. That's three. Your last count of four, you're going to come up four. Okay? So I'll go through it again so you can see. Begin from a crouch, stretch out, and left foot up, right foot up, right hand over, and left hand up on four. Okay? Now, from there, the next step that you're going to have, you're going to end up bringing your right foot out, and then as you're doing that, simultaneously as you take the right foot out, you have your hands crossed right about your pelvis. Okay, from there, you're going to bring left foot at an angle and simultaneously open your arms in a swag pose. As you're doing that, you'll notice, watch my hips. Okay, so you just finished your first step. Your arm is like this. You're in position. Bring your left arm down. Take your right foot to the right side while simultaneously crossing your hands at your hips. So it looks like this. Then you're going to bring your left foot forward at an angle and simultaneously open your arms in a swag pose, like this. Your pelvis is actually coming forward, so you've got that attitude, okay? Now from there, you're going to bring the left foot back, like I just did, simultaneously crossing your arms at your hips again. So it's back. Now you're going to bring your right foot across at an angle in the same way, okay? As you bring your right foot across, open the arms again and thrust your pelvis in that swag pose. So the same thing that you did over here to the right side, you're now doing to the left side. Okay? So it's right, here, back, left. You're basically making an X pattern. All right? That's your second step. Now, your third step that you'll be moving into comes along in the track where Sierra is counting. And she says 3, 2, 1. Okay, as she says 1, you will be, when she's, let me start at the 3. 3, you would be on your right, your weight would be on your right foot. 2, your weight transfers to your left foot. Okay, so we just worked on the segment where Sierra is saying 3, 2, 1. And your gun finger is going to be basically here at the 1 count. So we had 3, 2, 1. Then she says, ow! And as she says, ow, you're moving your gun hand forward. So it's 1, ow. All right, then the next thing that she says, this right here is my swag. So what we're going to do is, during that time, you're going to be just basically, we're not going to do this on a count because it doesn't have to be exactly precise, and I don't want you to be caught up in a bunch of steps and miss the attitude that she's trying to convey here. So basically you're just going to go from this position to where she says, this right here is my swag. You're going to be simply doing something simple with your hips. This right here is my swag. So the only thing that I want you to really focus on here is just a little bit of attitude to make the transition here, where you're given that attitude swag. Okay, once she completes that, and she's talking, that's the next transition that she goes to in her lyrics. This right here is my swag. All the boys, what you're going to be doing is making, again, I'm not going to do a specific count or anything like that. This is just further expression of you. And you're going to be making a turn as she's transitioning from her last statement of swag, where she goes into all the boys. So it's going to be all the boys, just to make a turn and give it that hip hop. When she's talking about the boys being interested in her is basically my take on it. So hip hop, as you're making the hip hop, I want you to just snap down. And the right hand is going to go down to the right ankle. So you've got your hip pop down, just like that. And then this lyric is, everybody pay attention. So this is your chance, again with attitude, to get everyone's attention. So we're just going to do a little bit of natural swag. So you start with your right hand on your right ankle, and you're just basically slowly coming up while you're working your hips to the point where she says, it's coming up to Iggy Azalea coming in, and she says, I'm so fancy. So you've got everybody pay attention. Sierra saying, this is my swag. And Iggy Azalea is coming in saying, I'm so fancy. By the time Iggy Azalea is getting into her lyric in the mashup of I'm so fancy, you want to be into an upright position. You want to have your hands still on your hip from coming up. And your right hand is going to then come up to your head, and you're going to give some fancy attitude. Whatever strikes you, just make it look like you think you're fancy. So this and this, basically use your imagination, do what feels comfortable, because that's what's going to feel and present best. Fancy. And then you've got your weight evenly distributed between your 2 feet. So now to make the transition into Iggy Azalea's portion, you're simply going to, on the count, bring your weight forward, transferring it to your right foot, and you're going to snap together up. And then you're going to go left, snap up, right, snap up, left, snap up, right, snap up, left, snap up. And you'll hear it goes along with the music. You'll hear the snaps, and you're keeping your pace to those snaps through that portion. That takes you to the next portion, where you then come into the final segment of this first 1 minute, where it transitions back to Sierra. And she comes in, again, singing about her swag. So, at that point, you're going to have just finished a snap, okay? And you're going to go straight into your last swagging segment with Sierra, in which case you're simply going to go from your last snap here to a left foot forward at an angle, as you can see my foot here. And as you're doing that, again, you've got your simultaneous, but it's going to be with your right arm. So you've got opposing arm to opposing foot, okay? And it's basically going to go like this. So you're coming down and you're making a pop as that foot comes forward, just like that, okay? Then you're going to do the same thing this side. So you're crossing right foot and you're bringing that left hand for a pop. Now this is your chance, again, to incorporate some swag that is specific to you and your style. So if you want to give it a little hip action, or you want to give it a little bit of attitude of any kind, basically, you're just going to in and back, in and back, in and back, in and back. And that's going to finish out your 1 minute segment. Once that 1 minute segment is done, it's going to take you in the mashup into the transition where Red Foo says, "Party people." And that will be the beginning of your second segment, which will be 1:15 to complete your dance exhibition. Okay, all right, so we're ready for your music composition and your real-time portion of this instructional video. So let's do it. That's your first 1 minute segment. So have fun with it, you guys. I can't wait to see all of the swag attitude you bring to this. It has been so much fun, and I'm really excited.